Hello and welcome to Crooked House Gaming. Here at Crooked House Gaming, we like to explore the gameplay of simulation games, usually through a series of Let's Plays. In this episode, we will continue to explore the gameplay of Democracy 4. Democracy 4 is a political sim that lets you choose the role of a world leader and govern a country. If this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, welcome, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any future episodes. Democracy 4 is by Positech Games. This game is in early access, so this game is not yet complete, and the gameplay may have bugs. We are presently playing our second term of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We are now going to be entering our fourth year of our second term, so let's see what happened. The GDP is up. Everything else seems to be stable. Technological backwater. Great news. The Center of Technology and Business has announced that our nation is no longer perceived as being backwards in technological terms. This will be welcome news for the economy as it opens up opportunities for technology investment. Gig economy. Gig economy is no longer a major source of employment. Corporate manslaughter bill. There is an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. Corporate manslaughter bill. A new bill is proposed that will allow a corporate entity to be prosecuted for manslaughter when they have been found guilty of negligence resulting in loss of life. Pass the law. This law is necessary to deter companies from cutting corners when it comes to safety of their employees and members of the public. Too many people die every year in industrial accidents, and often there are no lessons learned and no blame apportioned. This law will be a step forward for corporate responsibility. Block this law. This law is unenforceable. With large companies employing many subcontractors, the legal complexity involved in applying blame for accidents is considerable. This law may be well-intentioned, but in practice it will be an expansive waste of time that serves to line the pockets of lawyers whilst failing to achieve any real change in corporate behavior. No, I'm passing. People and employees need to be protected. If they are not monitored, corporations will run roughshod over people's rights and health. Capitalists are unhappy at -5%. Liberals are happy at +3%, and my trade Unionist brethren are happy at +6. Situation imminent. Our data is showing we have a potentially bad situation. Bureaucracy on our hands if we do not act soon. Budget report. There's a budget deficit of £45.8 billion. We need to reduce spending or raise taxes. Polls report. Polls do not look good. Our last poll put us at 44% of the vote in the election. Cabinet report. Our cabinet ministers are adequate. Economic forecast. Good news. Global economy is doing well, and this is having a positive effect on our GDP. Take a look at my ministers. Transportation Minister. I'm gonna fire you. Bye. Okay, who can I hire for transportation? That will give me more political capital. This is with parents and state employees. Yeah, let's go hire Oscar Bailey. Everybody's miserable. And this gentleman. Fire you too. Goodbye. Liberals and retired. Liberal environmentalists. Middle income and commuter. Trade union and socialists. Let's hire Kevin Clark. Everybody's unhappy, but we'll see how it works. We got 13 political capital remaining. Taxes. Yes, we're going to raise the income tax some more. I'm going to raise it to 9. I'm going to apply the changes. I need to raise money for the country. We have 4 political capital remaining. Labor laws. I believe trade unionists. We're looking at labor laws. Yeah, I cannot do anything with labor laws now that I did something with the income tax. Perhaps we can do adult education subsidies. We can do a little bit more of that. I'll do 2 political capital. I'm going to do some things with maternity leave. To some people, ensuring that mothers have a right to maternity leave and returning to their jobs afterwards is a sign of a civilized society and one that encourages women to work. Some small businesses are concerned that it can put an unpredictable and even potentially crippling burden on an employer, especially where the number of employees are small. It could be argued that this actually encourages employers not to employ women. I am still going to raise it to 2. Apply the changes. We have 0 political capital remaining. We are ending our first term of our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Let's hit that button and see what happens. We are now entering the second term of our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Everything seems to be stable right now. Freedom of information. There's an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. Freedom of information. There has been calls for a law to increase the availability of information held on databases about citizens without their knowledge. This included the records held by private medical companies, insurance companies, debt collection agencies, as well as information held by government departments. Reject the proposal. Nobody likes the idea of the government holding information about them. In some circumstances, it needs to be done. The government isn't out to spy on everyone, but passing this law just makes it harder for the intelligence services to keep watch on serious criminals and terrorists. It will also affect a large number of businesses who have customer databases who are swamped with yet more bureaucracy. Pros the Freedom Act. It is essential that we have this law passed, as it is one of the checks checks and balances required in a truly free society. An average law-abiding citizen should not be spied on or monitored by multinational corporations with computer databases. The potential for abuse by government agencies if citizens cannot view the data being stored is huge. We're going to reject this proposal. The Liberals are unhappy. State employees are happy. Our cabinet report. Loyalty of our ministers can best be described as loyal. Their effectiveness is generally considered adequate. Economic forecast. Good news. The global economy is doing well and having positive effect on our GDP. Polls report. Your approval rating is disappointing. If we believe the polls, you would get just 23% of the vote. Budget report. The government is currently running a budget deficit of £28.51 billion. We should take steps to reduce this. We have 12 political capital because our ministers are not happy with us. I'm looking for a way to raise money for the country. I have enough political capital to finally do petrol tax. Petrol tax. Taxing fuel can be a huge source of income for the government. It can also be seen as a green policy. By encouraging people to drive less or use more fuel-efficient cars, critics suggest that this is just another cynical tax on the motorists, and some complain that alternative public transport is not a viable option for everyone. I'm going to raise it to 11, and we should raise quite a bit of billions of pounds. We're going to apply those changes. We have one political capital remaining. Let's do some free parenting classes. Having a newborn child can be taxing and exhausting for new parents. By introducing these free classes, parents can learn how to deal with the situation, how to raise their babies, and have a normal life at the same time. It won't make babies cry less, but it will make the parents more stress resistant and aware. Plus, they will meet other parents with the same situation. I'm going to do something for the parents. I'm putting one political capital in. Do it to about there. Apply the changes. We are at the end of our second term of our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Let's hit that button and see what happened. An openly gay politician has been elected as leader of the opposition. Representation at the highest level of government has resulted from sustained campaign against sexual discrimination in our society. Liberalism is up 6%. Situation evident. Our data is showing that we have a potentially bad situation. Tax evasion on our hands if we do not act soon. Yeah, because I've been raising the taxes like a crazy man. Budget report. There's a budget deficit of £28.10 billion. We need to reduce spending or raise taxes. Polls report. Your approval rating is disappointing. If we believe the polls, you would just get 26% of the vote. Cabinet report. The loyalty of your ministers can best be described as loyal. Their effectiveness is generally considered to be adequate. Economic forecast. Good news. The global economy is doing well and having a positive effect on our GDP. Unexplained wealth orders. A break with normal assumption that innocence until proven guilty. Unexplained wealth orders allows prosecution where a wealthy individual cannot explain where their wealth comes from. Controversial but effective policy against career criminals who clearly profiting from crime but have covered their tracks well. And my cabinet ministers are pathetic right now. I could do something with this foreign policy minister. I might fire her. Yeah, I don't want to do middle income and commuter because I've been taxing. Retired and liberal. I haven't been touching the retired. Let's try Marilyn Foster. Everyone seems unhappy with that choice. We are down to 12 political capitals. We're doing tax evasion. We're going to do unexplained wealth orders. We're going to do it to 3%. It's going to cost us millions of pounds, but not billions of pounds. No, I love those speed cameras. Yeah, we're going to do some more speed cameras. We did it outside of schools. I thought we did it in residential areas. Apply the changes for residential areas. We have 3 political capital remaining. Childcare provision. By giving state subsidies for childcare, we can ensure more parents return to the workforce after having children and therefore benefit the economy. Although this can be expensive, it is also a distortion of the market. It is popular with parents. Let's do 2 political capital in that, because that will help productivity and the parents will be happy and gender equality will be happy. Unemployment will go down. Let's apply those changes. We have 1 political capital remaining. We're going to work with the trade unionists here. Work safety law. Work safety law is known as health and safety. It's a series of measures to ensure the employees are not at risk for injury on their day-to-day activities. Trade unionists often hail such laws as valuable defense against unscrupulous employers who may put lives at risk. Many business leaders are concerned at the high levels of bureaucracy and restrictive practices that can result from such laws, which they see as a burden on business. I'm going to apply those changes. We are entering the 3rd term. Let's hit that button. We are now going to be entering the 3rd term of our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Let's see what happens. There's an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. A proposal to ban all animal experimentation has been placed before the government by pressure groups. We currently have quite a few people working in industries that use animal testing, but is also a highly unpopular practice. Ban it. In this day and age, there's no good reason to test any products on animals, especially cosmetics. Practices used are often incredibly cruel, and a ban would have a widespread public support and little real impact on the industry. No change. Products are only tested on animals in order to ensure there's no chance of danger to humans. It's only done as a last resort under controlled conditions. If we impose such a drastic ban, it will hit our cosmetic and pharmaceutical industries badly. Now, I'm banning it. The environmentalists are happy by 8%. The GDP goes down -2%. Unemployment goes up 1%, and we are seen as compassionate. Situation imminent. Our data is showing that we have a potentially bad situation, gig economy on our hands if we do not act soon. Budget report. There is a budget deficit of £28.5 billion. We need to reduce spending or raise taxes. Polls report. The government is not popular amongst its citizens. Only 35% of them intend to vote for you in the next election. Cabinet report. The loyalty of your ministers can best be described as loyal. Their effectiveness is generally considered to be adequate. Economic forecast. Good news! The global economy is doing well, and this is having a positive effect on our GDP. Security briefing. Intelligence services report a concern about a relatively small extremist religious organization known as Angels of Heavenly Justice. We should keep a close eye on their activities. They are up 5. We have 13 political capital. We're going to raise some more money with petrol tax. We need money for our government. Use 11 political capital on a petrol tax. Put some money in intelligence services. This will work on our crime. Spy satellite network. Ooh, I feel so espionage. Intelligence services. Security services are an essential tool to fight against organized crime and terrorism. Good, reliable intelligence can be difficult and expensive to obtain, and in many cases the methods employed can be unpopular with liberals and human rights activists. Let's apply those changes. 0 political capital remaining, so let's hit that button. We are going to be entering our 4th term in our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Let's see what happened. Everything seems to be stable here. Nothing is going up or down. It looks like crime has gone down a smidgen. Religious symbols in schools. There's an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. There is a pressure for us to introduce a law to ban the wearing of religious symbols in state schools by students. This would include wearing the hijab of female Muslim students and the wearing of the cross by Christian students. Introduce the ban. The school is a place for children to learn, not to display their religious allegiance. By ensuring all students dress the same, we can ensure there is equality and integration of all religions with no discrimination. This is the logical extension of the separation of religion and state. People are free to dress how they like in churches and mosques, but not in state schools. Reject the ban. There is nothing short of discrimination against Muslims. No one really expects this law to be used to prevent the wearing of Christian crosses. It exists purely as an excuse to ban Muslim students from dressing as they wish. This will cause division and segregation and is the recipe for religious tension in schools. I'm rejecting the ban. Liberals are unhappy by 2%. The religious are happy by +3. Our data is showing that we have a potentially bad situation. Petrol protests on our hands if we do not act soon. It's because of the petrol tax. There is a budget deficit of £25.43 billion. We need to reduce spending or raise taxes. The government is not so popular among its citizens. Only 34% of them will intend to vote for you in the next election. Cabinet report. Loyalty of our ministers can best be described as loyal. Their effectiveness is generally considered to be adequate. Economic forecast. Good news. The global economy is doing well and is having a positive effect on our GDP. Security briefing. Our intelligence services report serious concerns about the actions of extremist religious groups that go by the name of Angels of Heavenly Justice. There is a moderate threat of violence attacks from this group in the near future. Yeah, they've gone up to about 6. Though we have petrol protests. Do we have biofuel initiatives? Biofuel subsidies. Biofuels can reduce the oil demand by mixing ethanol derived from corn with petrol, chemical fuel. This is generally popular with environmentalists. Farmers who earn money producing corn for biofuel also benefit. Biofuels have a higher mix of ethanol and can be subsidized through tax breaks. Let's do this. +2. Apply that change. We have 11 political capital remaining. But I'm gonna tax more petrol, cause you know, nothing says up yours to petrol protests like raising the taxes on the things that they're protesting. Taxing fuel can be a huge source of income for the government. It also can be seen as a green policy by encouraging people to drive less or use more fuel efficient cars. Critics suggest that it's just another cynical tax on the motorist. Some complain that alternative public transport is not a viable option for everybody. But we're gonna raise some money money for the country. Let's apply those changes. We are at the end of our 4th term, as we have no political capital left to spend. We are at the end of our 4th year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So I am going to end our episode here. Thank you so much for stopping by our Cricket House. If you like what you saw, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to follow our future episodes. It really helps us out. Have a great week. See you soon.